I think what's changing is that some men now know how to cry in the rain so that no one knows they're crying. Yeah, you understand that? Yeah.
Crying in the rain.
Yeah, you know when I'm crying in the rain, no one knows.
Hello everyone, welcome to Wellness Waves Undiluted. I'm Lika, your host.
And I'm Monica, your co-host. Today we have a very special guest. He has a very vast experience and we've been friends for almost 15 years now. A pharmacist by training, but definitely somebody who has played in the multinational space, in the fast-moving consumer goods, in the communication space, and who is a strategic thought leader in Nigeria. Join me to welcome Chidi Okoro.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
I know I've introduced you, Chidi. Would you want to say a little bit about your background as we progress?
Okay. I think you got my background. I've done my share of 9 to 5, for many years,
Yes.
over 30 years. At the moment, I do a bit of consulting in different areas. I'm a faculty at the Lagos Business School as well, and I'm involved in running my own business. I sit on the board of a few organizations, both in Nigeria and a few other countries across Africa.
Busy life, I must say. With everything you say you do.
So it seems.
So managing that stress is one of the things we are going to discuss about, being part of all these different sectors and,
right.
Being involved in different aspects. How do you navigate it all and still keep a good lifestyle or manage your lifestyle as well? So today's topic, Monica, would you like to introduce our topic? I love today's topic.
Yes. Today we'll be talking about wellness has no gender. For many people, when we talk about wellness, we talk about health, we talk about self-care. It seems rather effeminate. But we wanted to interrogate that topic a little bit more, and we feel Chidi will really be able to add to that discussion. So wellness has no gender is our caption for this episode.
Yes, so one of the reasons why we decided on this topic and why we also wanted it to be one of our first episodes is because this is a true life story that happened to us. When we decided to do this and we're trying to put together a logo for our Wellness Waves Undiluted, as soon as we put the term wellness on the search box, everything that came up had some feminine tone to it. So it had flowers, it had a feminine hand. We saw things like a lady's face. We saw things like someone, having a massage and it's a feminine, like a lady doing a massage. So it was just something that just hit us from the get-go. Like, why is it that wellness, because it was just the term wellness that was there, why has it been, just related with feminine?
Sure.
And we from the get-go is like, we need to debunk this because wellness has no gender. Everybody should take care of their mental health, should take care of their lifestyle, should be, involved in all these things that relate to wellness.
Right.
So yeah, we're having a conversation just before we aired, and I like that you said wellness is so broad that you can't just, put it. I'd just like you to talk a bit more about that.
Yeah. Thanks for mentioning. I think the traditionally in the homes, the female were the caregivers, are supposed to be so. We see them as a care because they did the last mile for caregiving. When the child is sick, the mother is the one. The mother made sure everybody fed well. That's very important. The mother made sure the people went to bed at the right time. That was traditional. It wasn't like the male gender wasn't involved in that. We are certainly involved in that because sometimes we make the decision of which hospital to go to.
Mm-hmm.
So over time, that dominant logic did spread, where we started to assume that it's all about the female. It's about how we all grew up, the tradition, the past. That's where that came from. But when you look at fact, if you, and I understand why you say when you went to Google wellness, female stuff popped up. If you look at the SPARs, when they do their marketing, is all they, yeah. But I do consulting for a few SPARs, both in Lagos and Nairobi, and they tell me that in terms of customer profile, it's male 54, 60%,
Wow.
which is a surprise. That's one. We also have a range of pharmacies we do work for that we are part of, and when we see who buys a majority of the products for chronic diseases, for sleep disorders, that's a big part of wellness. For the children, for care of the children, the supplements, the males do have a big part. Yeah, I think wellness certainly has no gender. If you define it narrowly as just, the way sometimes we define it, just on maybe curative healthcare, maybe you start to tender. But if you define it more holistically, it's about taking responsibility for your mental, physical, spiritual, emotional well-being, then it shouldn't have a gender. It certainly doesn't have a gender. When you look at the gyms around you, what do you think they're trying to do in the gyms? It's all about wellness at the end of the day. If you go out in the morning to see people jogging, you probably see a lot more males. Yeah.
A lot of men.
It's a mix. So I don't think it has, but it's the way we have all grown up. So, and that's the information we've thrown into social media. It gives us back that information.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I mean, I want to take up on something you just said, Chidi, about defining how you define wellness might also, have something to do with why we see a lot of that feminine angle and taking responsibility. So if we look more at preventive health, for example, and we look at self-care and people actually taking care, a lot of men are perceived to be averse to when you talk about prevention.
That's right.
Right. So, or even when you have issues come up in chronic care, for example, how consistent are men vis-a-vis women? Maybe
in terms of compliance.
In terms of compliance. So that also, and then like you said, culturally, where men culturally do not have that help-seeking behavior.
That's right.
So that again, could be part of the reason why there's that perception. But really, for me, wellness has no gender, self-care has no gender, but I think we need more visibility in that space. And as you rightly said, so when you look at the gyms and people working out, we see a lot of consciousness around men. So if we move to like nutrition,
right,
for example, and we move to mental health are tough discussions for men.
Yeah.
That's right. Very difficult discussion.
Right. And again, that is an area that is very, very key. And you talk about the sleep disorders and sleep itself. We were talking about sleep. And again, within a cosmopolitan area that we are, I know you're very conscious, very deliberate, very intentional as an individual. But how many men are so conscious?
I think that's a very valid question. Sometimes a lot of people believe that they have all the power to get that stuff done, to get stuff done and look after themselves. Self-care is starting to become a thing here. It's over the past few years. It hasn't been. We always believed in when we're down, we go to the hospital. So we wait for when we're down. Sometimes when we're down, it's already too late.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's one. But when the consciousness is growing. A lot of people go on social media to get information. Sometimes it's right, it's wrong. Sometimes totally wrong off the mark. If you look around the major cities in Nigeria that we live in, start with Lagos, you can see a lot more consciousness. You've seen restaurants now that are making a healthier meals. That's starting to come. You have seen a lot more gyms, and the gyms are now focusing a lot on even how you eat and how you get rest. I think self-care, wellness, etc., is starting to be more holistic in terms of the way people view it, because it's not just about your nutrition. It has a lot to do with your sleep. That's critical. It has to do with how you combine your food. Yesterday I went for lunch of a book by an oncologist,
Okay.
And actually, she laid down nutrition plan, which is interesting, that you have to eat a lot more frequent. You still have to eat your eba or a mala or something, but how you mix it does count. That's one. The other one is about the mental health issue. There's something cultural about that. I do work for a mental health organization, and one of the things we are working on is to rename it, rechristen it. The moment we pushed out mental health, we didn't get clicks.
Yes.
You know, so I said, you know
like
what do we tag that so that to get people to come in? You know, how do we frame it positively to get people to come in? If you look at stuff like management of chronic disease, which is part of self-care, really compliant. Compliance is about 14% as of the last count in Nigeria, chronic disease medicines. Is there a way to reframe that? You know, people have to take the medicine forever. When you tell me I have to take the medicine forever, I already give up. So reframing that is something we are trying to do, even in our pharmacy chains that we work with a lot of. How do you reframe that conversation that they don't see it as a death sentence? You know, you have to take the medicine until you die. That's not what I like to hear. You know, you have to take the medicine to stay healthy and strong. So, but I think it's coming, that awareness is growing. And I think the program like yours is one of the platforms to start to really drive that up. It's about people being able to even understand it more holistically and building their own structure to it. What I do, I build my life around my sleep and my food. And I've done that for long. People say, oh, I do that because I run my own business. No, I can be busier than most people or less busier than most people. It depends on how I structure it. So I build it. When do I have to eat? When do I have to sleep? Once I cover those two, everything else can add in. That's how I build my own wellness ecosystem. What time do I have to go and play with my friends? That's very important. Also, that's part of managing wellness.
Yes.
Okay.
Very key.
So when do I go to play with my friends? You know, I go today. If I'm done with this, I go back home and get a nap. Then I go and sit with my friends. And it's not like I'm not busy today, but I said today I'm going to sit with one of my friends and just talk about his business. So that's important. It's about dimensioning your time.
Yes.
24 hours is a very long time. I got up today at about 2:48 a.m. I had a document to review for someone, 2.5 hours. To do that, I had to go to bed at 7:30 p.m. yesterday. So I got up very early. So if you wake up 2:48 a.m., the internet is strong. You don't have distraction. So I could read that document. It was 48-page document. I could do it in 2 hours. If I tried to read it by 11 o'clock, 6 hours, I'm not done. So it's about understanding your schedule and building your life around that. That's what I've been able to do over time. And it's not because I run my own business, I'm flexible with my timing. I'm not. You know I'm not that flexible with my timing. Sometimes people lock down my timings for me and I have no choice on that. But I know that 60% of the time I have, I can move around that. That's it. But it's about being holistic, about the way you view self-care and wellness. That's what I've been able to understand over time.
There was something you said that is bringing me to what I'm about to say. So when you talked about using the term mental health and not getting people interested, especially with men. So I have a lot of friends who have been in cases where they have marital issues and they want to go for couples therapy. So the woman is so open to do this.
That's right.
Couples therapy, and the man is just like, I'm not paying anybody to sit down and be talking. I don't understand.
I don't get it.
What are we talking about here? So I should go and pay 1 million.
I know what the issue is.
For to know what is your problem with me, and let's discuss it at home. So it's so weird that a lot of men still see couples therapy as a waste of money.
That's right.
That's right. Why is that?
Yeah, that's right.
What do you think is the reason why?
I think there's a lot in branding.
Okay.
There's a lot in branding. So let's take something. Look at Nike. What do they communicate? They don't communicate shoes. They communicate, we honor great athletes. You get that? That's positive. That's a lot in branding. Mental health. I'm working with a company now in the north, into mental, and we've been trying to whip. So what I said to them, we need to rebrand it. We need to change this. and take that down. Nobody goes to the website. They say mental health, not
They-
for me. That's a lot in branding. Is there a way we can rebrand it here? Where we copied it from, they have advanced.
Yes.
Their own idea is slightly different. People seek help. Here, people are not given to seek help.
Yeah.
We believe that we can go, especially some gender, we believe that we can go it alone. If you look at the issues of, you spoke about marital issues, and you want to go to a psychologist. Some will
Yes.
say it's a psychologist. That's a
Psychologist.
And they think
that's
they are,
interesting.
it means
Yeah,
they are
there's
going
something
mad.
wrong with me. Yeah. So maybe thinking about reframing it, and I like the term self-care. It's more positive
Yeah.
Yeah.
than self-care for your well-being.
Yes.
Not just about mental health. That's too narrow. You can
Yes.
broaden that conversation. And when you start to go into it and speak about nutrition, it's great for you. Your sleep is very important. If you don't get good sleep, you're not strong the following day. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Try it. If I don't get good sleep, I can't do enough exercise in the morning. I have to do 1 hour every day, sometimes 2 hours. For me to do that, I have to get good sleep, minimum 6.5, 7. If I don't, I struggle. And you can tell that people are a bit more aware of the importance of sleep.
Yes.
If you go to a typical pharmacy, you can check the shelf and see the number of products,
For
sleep aids they have.
Yeah.
Just go and see. And you can tell that people are typically more interested in that. But rechristening might be a way out of that.
Are
Changing
we
the
hearing
conversation.
that?
Yes.
Are we
Yeah.
hearing that?
Yes.
Retuning the
All our
conversation.
therapists out there,
Therapy,
change
yeah.
what you call
Yeah.
the name of your
Just
business.
rethink it. Just rethink it so that we
Wow,
see.
that's a seriously
Yeah.
different way
That's
to
it.
look at it.
That's it.
Like
Yeah.
if I tell someone, so let me use my husband, I'm sorry, dear.
Yeah.
Let me use him as an example. So if now, for example, anyway, he is open-minded, but let's say a man who is not, if you tell him, oh, I'm giving you a spa day, and that spa day includes us entering a room and having a session,
That's right.
it might be more convincing to him
Absolutely.
than me just
Let's say
saying we're going for couples therapy.
That's right. That's
So
right.
yeah, I think that word rebranding
Yeah.
the name might be a way to go for especially us Nigerians.
Recreating the
Thank
project. I mean, you just spoke about SPAR there. That's a great idea. So you go to SPAR, it's now beyond just the massage.
Massage,
It's
yeah.
beyond that.
Beyond
Yeah.
But that's
Yeah.
a great platform. In fact, it's a good product opportunity you're
Yeah.
giving to the SPAR.
Yeah.
They can partner with such it's more positive. Those are more positive environments where you go to relax and not where you go to get advice.
Yeah,
Most people
because
don't
when
like
you're
advice.
thinking of that, yes, these people now they want to tell me all the wrong
we
things
don't even
I've
take
done.
free advice, not
Yeah.
to talk of paid one. We don't like to take
don't
free,
take
free
free
one.
advice.
We say no.
It's not
Paid one.
okay.
No. Yeah. So I think it's about it. We can
I
rethink
like
that,
Awesome.
Okay.
reframe it.
That's
Yeah.
nice.
Okay.
That's
That's
self-care, as you know, Chidi, I host the Wellness and Self-Care
Yeah.
Summit, which you've been a big part of and continue to remain a part of. And what we're seeing over the years, the interest is building up around that self-care
Absolutely.
topic.
Yeah.
Because I think, we're coming to that realization that we have to be more involved, intentional and deliberate about our health in order to
Yeah.
improve, the health outcomes. Our indices as a nation are far from where they need to be, and definitely even at the international level, there's recognition about the role of self-care, people embracing self-care and actually being intentional about it. So that is definitely something that we need to drive further.
So I have 2 boys,
That's right.
right? And I remember also growing up with my brothers, because I have 2 brothers, and you would hear things like, oh, don't cry, you're a man.
That's right.
And I was speaking to my cousin recently, who is around my age group, and same thing, he grew up in that kind of family orientation. So I think with Nigerian men or African men generally, there's that belief of keep your emotions, don't cry, don't do all that. And I'm thinking that it's a major reason why men think the way they do now. So they see it as weak for you to talk about your problems, or why you just be, in fact, they can call the guy a sissy. Like, why are you all about your feelings? Like, why are you coming to tell me I did this, I not do
That's
that?
right.
Why are you nagging? So I want your opinion on it, but personally, I think that some of these issues is without even the men knowing it,
right.
is the way they have been brought
Yeah,
up.
it's the way you've been. It's the way you've been formed.
Yeah.
It does have, it does affect that. I think that's certainly true. I think what's changing is that some men now know how to cry in the rain, so that no one knows they're crying. Yeah, you understand that? Yeah.
Crying in the rain.
Yeah,
in the rain.
when I'm crying in the rain, no one knows. Yeah, but I think that it's something that has to, I have lots of friends because of the work I've done in the past, and I've seen a lot more men now starting to put their issues on the table.
Yeah.
I have this issue, I'm battling with it. Yeah, it didn't used to happen. I mean,
Yes.
the last 3-4 years, I have a lot of my friends who we meet up. Like, I'm going to meet a friend of mine. We're going to talk about issues that affect us, just like the women. Women probably do that a lot more.
Yeah.
I mean, women speak together about their hormonal issues. I say
Yeah.
to them that men also have hormones, don't they?
Yes.
Yeah, they do have. But our upbringing and the way we've been cultured, I think it has implication to that. But
Yeah.
that's moving, that's shifting. But again, we still have to be masculine.
Why?
We have
Why?
to remain-
What's that? What's that
We have to
about?
play.
Like,
we
what's that
we have
about?
to play through to type.
Like, I'm a man. Like,
Yeah.
even when you started with, women are more the
They're
nurturers,
yeah.
the carers.
That's
Why?
right.
Why?
Yeah.
Why can't it be that I just give birth and
Yeah.
my husband is the one that
I think
will
every
do all
gender
that?
has a role.
Every gender has.
Every gender has some attributes. If
Yes.
someone breaks into this room now, what's going to happen?
I'll run to the front.
Yeah. If someone breaks into it, you know what will happen. Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. So it's the way we've been brought up, but that's starting to move. But we have to remain masculine. We're men. We are men. You're female. It's important to have that distinguishing line. But looking after oneself
Yeah.
should be something very selfish.
Yes.
to everyone.
Yeah.
I'm felt selfish about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm very selfish about myself, making sure that my own space is protected, and that my space is about my total care, which is self-care. Total care, from nutrition to my sleep to my rest period to the people I engage. There are things I block out, things I block out. My health care. Every year I have to do my annual checkup twice. I just want to know. I just finished one and I took it to another hospital to interpret, and I say, why? Why am I doing that? They say, doctor, don't. I want to be sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes the other gender doesn't want to do those tests. So it's not like it's all male.
Yeah.
Some males are really interested in that. Some may not be. So we men have to be men. Absolutely. Yeah.
Men have to be men.
Self-care doesn't have to do with gender, because it's about taking responsibility.
Yes.
Sometimes in the homes, you can see that your mother is the one that's there for you when you're ill and you cannot go to school. It's not because your father didn't care. He's probably has dropped. There are different ways that we care.
Yeah.
He's probably dropped the money, or he's already found the doctor. Or he's already said if he goes get me in, because the man probably has to go hunt somewhere, and the woman has more flexible timing. But in some homes, it's the woman that does that. Yeah, so it shouldn't have a gender, definitely, but we have those gender disparity. Has to remember. Yeah, let's not challenge that. We shouldn't, should we?
Okay.
Right. Awesome.
I think this is a very interesting topic that I'm sure we're going to revisit.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah,
Sometime.
sometimes
In
soon.
future.
But yeah, it's been really good having you with us. I think so many people will have questions. I'm sure they would also have comments. Please make sure to drop them. We would respond to every comment if possible. So let's also know your idea. Do you agree with Chidi here that gender wellness has no gender,
but men will be men.
Men will be men.
Yeah.
And women will be women.
Women will be women.
And women will be women.
That's
So
very
let's see.
important.
Awesome.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you very
coming.
much.
Thank you for
Thank you.
coming.